back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. This is only my second video, so honestly you probably are. This week we are going to be testing if AI can make a better pattern than me. I chose two different patterns that I personally have already done, so an owl and a cow, and we are going to start with the owl, so let's get into it.
Okay, so first we are going to type make a crochet owl pattern into ChatGPT. Sorry for my painfully slow typing. It's a little difficult to watch, I know. Anyway, it's gonna then load our pattern, and upon first glance, this pattern looks quite sewing intensive. Honestly, that doesn't bother me personally, but I know that's kind of a hot take in the crochet community. I just don't think that a lot of no-sew patterns can quite get the detail that you get with crocheting everything separately and then kind of sewing it together. But that's just me. No hate if you do like no-sew patterns. Here's the supplies the ChatGPT pattern suggested. So we have our main color yarn and our accent color yarn, and it suggested a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. So that's what I have here. And then we also needed polyfill and a stitch marker, and it suggested anywhere from 8 to 10 millimeter eyes, so I just went with 9s. So right in the middle, I guess. And then also a yarn needle.
Okay guys, so here is the finished product. This is ChatGPT's owl. I will zoom in on them in a few minutes so that you can see them a little closer up. Honestly, it's really cute. It's just tiny. It is definitely a little wonky looking though, in my opinion. And for reference, here is the owl that I made. This is my pattern. His tufts are a little crazy right now, but his name is Albert. I think he's really cute.
Okay, so here's the ChatGPT owl as promised. As you can see, it's very circular, and that's supposed to be its head and its body, but okay. ChatGPT, I don't think, is capable of making anything other than a circle. Even the wings are circular, and I probably should have put them like higher up, but it didn't tell me where to sew them onto, so that's really on ChatGPT if you ask me. And I did include everything that ChatGPT said was optional, so that includes these V stitches that I embroidered on the belly right here, so like that. And then it also included these tufts on the top of the head, but they didn't say to brush them out, so they just kind of flopped there. It didn't say to cut them either, so they're just hanging out. It's fine. And it also, it has no feet. There's some stuffing coming out, that's on me, but it has no feet and it has no tail. So it leaves a little something to be desired. I don't think I would give this pattern to somebody. I don't think I would sell it because I just don't think that you can tell super what it is. So this is my owl. As you can see, he also has tufts on his head, but these are brushed out, which I personally think looks a lot better, and he has feet and he has a tail, and just overall, in my opinion, looks a lot more proportionate. Maybe the cat will be a little better. Okay, so we're working on pattern number 2. I cut out most of my slow typing this time for you guys, and it was really important to me that this pattern has an udder because my pattern has an udder. Sorry if that's not your jam, but I think it's fun and quirky. So anyway, we're gonna see what this looks like. It also looks like it's probably gonna be pretty sewing intensive. These are the supplies that recommended for the second pattern. So we got black yarn and white yarn and pink yarn. And then once again, we have polyfill. This one also recommended a 3.5 millimeter hook, so got that again. I think it said 10 to 12 millimeter eyes. These are 12s. And then also our stitch marker and yarn needle, and we still don't get to use scissors.
Okay, so now we have the cow pattern, and I'm actually gonna show mine first this time because I think the ChatGPT one it needs its own moment, okay? So this one is mine. This is Hattie the Holstein. If you like any of these patterns, I actually sell them on Etsy or also on my own website, and those links are in my bio on my channel page. But anyway, without further ado, here is the ChatGPT one. I'll zoom in on this. I have to. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh so hard.
Okay, so here's the ChatGPT cow. It is pretty interesting to look at. So first of all, I think we are all wondering what's going on with this udder. The only instructions it gave me for where to sew it was on the underside of the cow, and I think this is correct because of where the hole is. So there was a hole there, so the head had to be here. And I guess I could have sewn it on so it was more like that, but these legs are just so gigantic for this cow that I don't know where the udder would go. Like, if it went there, then the whole middle would just be udder. So, I don't know, but it makes me laugh to think that this is actually what it was supposed to look like. So, I'm going with it. And then, as you can see, the muzzle is also a complete circle. It cannot make an oval. ChatGPT doesn't know how. It's not the worst, but I prefer a more oval-shaped muzzle. And then these horns are they're really tall. They're more like a goat horn. That's a little nitpicky. Honestly, we'll give it to him. I like mine shorter. But the worst part is this tail. This tail is terrible. First of all, it's pink because it didn't tell me what color to make it in, and the part right before it was the udder, so I just kept working in pink because it didn't tell me to change colors. And then it's curly because if you didn't know, if you just work single crochets into a chain, it will curl naturally. So this kind of looks like a pigtail, and it looks better because I straightened it out, but like, look how curly it is. So it's a hot mess express. This whole thing is kind of not my favorite. Comparing it to my cow has more of like the oval-shaped nose that I was talking about that I like better, and then the legs and the udder are just, in general, a lot more proportionate, in my opinion, anyway. And then the ears are circles, but they're kind of folded so they look more like a cow ear, and then I have the shorter horns like I was talking about. And then one of my favorite parts of this pattern is the tail. I think that this is more of what an actual cow tail looks like. So yeah, there's my cow.
Alright guys, I'm pretty sure that that's everything that I had to show you. Let me know down in the comments who you think did a better job, me or ChatGPT. I think this video hopefully proved the point that I was trying to prove with it, that crochet patterns are really complex and they require an actual person, and you can also support a lot of small businesses and real people with buying a crochet pattern, or even there's a lot of free ones that are available that would support small creators. Hi, Thelma. So with that being said, let me know, and we will see you in the next one. Let me see if I can grab my friends. Bye!